Okay. So it seems when I moved it's still going through the webcam. So this one, disable. Now we test this one. Test, 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 test. All right, so this is going through the headset now. That's good. Now, input device. Output device. Hmm. Okay. 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 So there's no volume coming out of the headset. I'm gonna be trying to fix this for a second, but basically what we did is we took that mod, we went on a flat world, we tried to build a little bit. Essentially, we have a tiny little fortified area and a tiny mine shaft, and they've slowly been trying to get in, and winter just hit, so there's a possibility that they actually freeze my water, and I end up dying from that. So I'm not sure why my headset isn't working. Something that doesn't make a lot of sense when you move your computer. I mean, everything should work the same, but as soon as you unplug it and move it, something always changes. Trying a different plug hookup right now. Still nothing. So now my game has lost all volume. Interesting. Yeah, but basically I have water around the outside edges of this fortified area, and these guys have been whittling away. We've had a close call here and there. They blew up the front gate a while back, so it's kind of put together with a little bit. I was afraid this water would freeze, and if it does, they're going to be able to get in. But I've heard digging, so I'm pretty sure there's at least one of them that's underneath here somewhere. But you see, we had to seal up this with dirt. They blew the front gate off. But there hasn't really been much to explore out there. It's just flat. So we've been going underground trying to find some materials and hasn't worked out so well. But it's just a little test world trying to figure out what we're going to do. And I happened to run into a pretty big issue earlier. I had all my stuff on me, and basically I cut down trees until I got enough ladders to come down here. And I have a small farm down here. Um, but what happened was I went all the way down to level 11 to try and find some better resources. That's my small farm. Um, and I ran into silverfish, and I was fighting them in a tunnel, and a creeper just spawned inside the tunnel for no reason. And basically, the silverfish killed me, I guess, and then the creeper blew up and destroyed all my gear. So I pretty much lost everything at that point. But essentially, they would be able to come through pretty much anywhere. And with the super flat world, I don't know exactly how it works, but I guess we're at a very high elevation. That or we're having seasons, I don't know because it just started snowing, but water freezes up there and it takes a very long time to dig down to level 11. I only had one torch down here, so there's a possibility that a monster spawns in here. I guess it hasn't yet. See, but right in here is where that creeper had spawned. Because this had silverfish in it. But it didn't spawn inside here. The silverfish were coming out of a one high gap. The creeper spawned right here in front of me. And when I moved back, like, it just blew up right here. So I ended up dying here, losing all my stuff right here. Um, I did forget to go get my iron, though, so that's something. The good thing about the ladder is it doesn't really use a bunch of hunger to go up and down the ladder. So, I mean, we haven't had to have a ton of food, but we will have to have more and more food as time goes by. And I only have 15 extra ladders right now, which I probably should store. But in case we ever try to basically go up and down through the tunnel over there, we can just use ladders. But I'll probably have to restart the game and try to get my headset to work properly. I don't know what's happened to it. But now I'm not getting volume out of anywhere, so we definitely broke something. But yeah, I may try to do this again in just an overworld, just a normal world. Haven't really made up my mind yet. The water defense works very, very well against these creatures, but I mean, the water defense is only going to protect versus that castle up top. As soon as I come underground, they can start coming through these walls. It may take them a while, but they could get down here eventually. And that's kind of where the game takes a turn from the standard normal game that you'd normally play. I need to start keeping a stash of bread somewhere as well in case I lose my stuff again. But yeah, it took a little bit for the farm to actually get going, but I mean, just a little square plot is plenty enough for the most part, as long as I don't do anything too dangerous. I get like 2 or 3 bread every couple minutes. We haven't really found much iron or much coal or anything else. That's why I only have one torch down there right now. Because I found one coal patch in this tunnel coming down, and I haven't found any real coal since then. Yeah, so we have an issue there, but it's not too bad. But we will need the coal to fuel our furnaces and stuff, or we can cut down more trees to make some charcoal. But I think right here is where we found the coal last time. But I don't know if the creatures can climb the ladders or not, or spawn up there and like climb down. But I'm thinking they probably can't, which would be pretty good. And although I don't really feel like playing very many video games nowadays, um, someone that I know is trying to get me to play Call of Duty now. So what was it? Just gold. So I think what we're gonna have to do here is basically like keep this torch on us. There's going to be a monster that spawns in here at some point. But our supplies are so limited, I can't really worry about it too much at the moment. I just don't have any volume now, which is terrible. But basically, we're just going to take these 2 torches and work our way down this tunnel. And then if a creeper or something spawns in here, well, I mean, they spawn in here. It's not much we could do about that. Luckily, we've been getting bats. So we're just going to kind of alternate the torches back and forth as we mine. And essentially, what I would do, probably in an overworld version of this, like right there's a creeper. I guess it has a time limit. Um, how I dug down right here works very well because it's a straight hole. When the sun gets up in the air, you can see it at the end of the tunnel, and that lets you know that it's daytime, which is the only time you're really safe to come out. So we finally got some iron. We just got to keep our eye on back there, because that stuff will probably continue to happen. This will give us a couple of torches. I'll just go ahead and light this up. Look at that. Creeper uncovered some iron for us, boys. Alright, so tunnel should be pretty safe. Creeper actually helped us out a little bit here, which is nice. I'm generally not a big fan of armor, but in this game mode, I probably will need armor at some point. I might try a hardcore at some, like if I get decent at fighting this, do a hardcore. Um, I don't know if there's any tunnels or caves on this flat world, so I'm guessing not. And if there's not, then that means I don't really have much to worry about while I'm underground compared to being in a normal world, which is why I think I'm going to restart this and play in a normal world. Um, because being down here and knowing that at any moment they could bust into the actual tunnel or something could be a big deal, especially if you get cut off. I don't have any dire need of redstone at the moment, so I'll just kind of leave that down here. And since we already got some iron to kind of make up for this, I'll just use the iron pickaxe for a little bit. But for me, I think this is pretty much what hardcore Minecraft should be like, because you're not really going to be able to make a mob farmer. You're not going to be able to just run around carelessly because they can actually work their way to you. So even like zombies right now would be a big deal, like a zombie spawner, because essentially what would happen is the zombies would end up spawning and then they'll end up tunneling through the wall. And since you're not going to be able to get to the spawner without killing all the zombies, it leads to some issues. So, guess I'll go ahead and grab some gold. Why not? Okay. So now we have a decent amount of coal in here that we know about. That's going to be pretty good. I'll go ahead and do that. But yeah, I think so. This game mode is just not as hard as everything else at the moment. So I mean, the coal's good, but I mean, if the game had some sort of defenses or like fire pit or something you could light with coal to help with mobs, I mean, I think that would be a fairly good option. But when we go up, I'll kind of show you what it's like at night right now. So when you come out here, I mean, you're gonna have skeletons shooting at you constantly. Spiders and stuff haven't gotten over the walls yet. Zombies haven't gotten into the walls yet, although they've been digging quite a lot, and I haven't inspected the outside of the castle for a little bit. Um, Zombies haven't been building up the wall like I expected them to yet, and they haven't blocked off any of the water yet. But our front gate was vulnerable and did take a hit. But ever since then, I don't think we've really taken another hit to the front gate. If they do happen to do that, they will blow right through that wall. I do have two layers of wall there, though. So essentially, before I had two sets of double doors, kind of like an airlock to get in. And what happened was the creepers went up and they blew up on the front set of double doors, and they destroyed the pathway to the actual front of the castle. And then ever since then, I haven't really rebuilt that pathway, and they haven't been able to get to the second set of doors yet. So even though we have a little bit of damage, it's not too bad. You can see this farm makes plenty enough of everything you probably need for the most part. So I get 2 or 3 bread every time I come through for the most part, which is plenty enough for me to get fed, and that's just off one water block. So for me, that's perfectly fine. Now, if those were carrots or something, I'd probably never have to worry about food again. So that's just some of the survival aspects in Minecraft that aren't very difficult compared to other survival games, which I think is why quite a lot of people like this game because I mean it's the vanilla version isn't particularly challenging, but there is still stuff that can happen that will inconvenience you. Whereas like something like Ark Survival Evolved, I mean, you may have some things that happen, especially early on, that are really annoying and difficult. But then later on, as you get better at the game, I mean, there's not really much you could do to get hurt there. I mean, if you're a serious gamer on Ark, there's not really much that's going to get in your way or bother you, especially when your character's leveled up and you have good gear and good dinos. So, I mean, those games are harder at the beginning of the game and then they get really easy after, and that's how most survival games are. Whereas Minecraft is kind of like it's easy at the first, but you have little challenging spots that can kind of pop up whenever. So, let's see, stick some coal in here. So we'll stick some cobble in here in case we need repairs. And go ahead and stick this pick in here, might as well. So you can see right there, I mean, they just non-stop coming after here. So that looked like a creeper exploded and knocked the other creeper back. Um, I think there's invisible skeletons out here. But you can see, I mean, it's just been a war zone this whole time. But during the day, it's not too bad because all the mobs just kind of disappear at the day. I haven't seen any creepers spawn during the day. Like that one is getting pretty close to this wall. So it might have the possibility it's on top of something. Yeah. So that was my fault for getting too close to the wall, but you could see like stuff like this spider, the creepers on top of the spider, and that spider can climb up the side of this wall and blow up the top part. And then if another like this, if another spider comes along, um, very probable that they would end up destroying this section of wall. But I don't think the spider necessarily likes water, and so that's a plus. But you can see, I mean, even though like it's been a few days in this little fortification, you can tell that eventually they would break in if I don't keep maintaining. I mean, it's kind of a low chance, but it can happen. As an example though, because I'm able to have the cheats and stuff on here. You can see that right here, like I haven't checked in on this at all, but you can see that they have managed to get a very massive hole right here with creepers, and the water is protecting them from kind of blowing up this section now. But zombies and things can still get right here and dig in. And if they dig in like this and they get in here to where there's an air pocket, they can continue to dig under and get inside. This right here, one of the creepers blew up a small, it was 4 blocks, and I tried to repair it. I didn't have the materials before. So they tried to blow up 4 block area that got blown out there. And then if a zombie showed up and dug through right there, they could have gotten in. That's why I put those 2 blocks there. Right here, they were building up, and then they didn't build up any higher. I'm not sure why they're not building up any higher, but they could have built right up in here and got in. Maybe a creeper blew up and stopped them. So this right here just happened. So it was a zombie or something holding a creeper, and I guess they rode up the water here. And since the thing holding the creeper was in the water and the creeper was in the water, it can deal damage to the blocks up here. So it took something holding the creeper to get it above the water, but it blew out this chunk here, and now zombies could dig through this to get in. Zombies can also spawn with pickaxes, and they can dig through the actual stone to get in. So this right here is a weak spot that they may not get into today, but if I don't go and repair that, eventually something is going to get through. Like even if another creeper showed up, like that one right there, that spider, if it showed up right after that and blew up right here, it would have taken out this whole wall section, and they would be able to get in. So you can see like how it, a slight modification to the build. It requires a lot more than just a 3 high wall to stop the mobs like vanilla Minecraft, but water can do quite a lot of work, but there's still gaps that they could get in. Whereas like vanilla Minecraft, put a 3 high wall, they're not getting in. I mean, that's just how it is. So as you can see here, this is where the front gate took that first blow. So essentially, I had two double doors here, and a creeper was in, like, got up on one of these blocks and blew up the front portion of the gate. And when this happened, it actually blew up this back area as well. So I had to fill in the whole gate area with dirt and then eventually replace these back doors, but I've just been kind of sealing off the front with dirt. But you can see that they could get up here, blow this up, and recreate that hole, and then they can get up in here. So if they swam over here and got up inside of this tower, they could go through this wall. So there's a number of ways they could actually get into this base right now. Right here, a zombie or something dug and broke through a stone piece, and then you might not be thinking that, that one stone is that big of a deal, but you get another zombie that comes in, breaks the bottom piece, and they start digging up, and they end up in your base. So, I mean, it's not much, but it's a mod that actually makes the game much more interesting than it was because they're actually actively seeking you out, especially when you first get started, especially um, when you don't have like a bucket or anything to move the water. They're going to be coming after you, and you're going to have to dig into a side of a mountain or something, and then use your blocks to just completely seal up behind you. And then they're still going to be blowing up the mountain trying to get to you, probably from all directions. And then once you go underground, they can come through the walls to get you there. So, I mean, there's not really much that you can be safe with, but you're going to want a bucket first thing, find water, and then build a moat around an area that you're going to actually protect. And then during the day is pretty much your only safe time. So here, for me to keep them from blowing up this castle, I've been going down to the very bottom of everything at night, and then I only come up when the sun comes all the way up and I can see it through the tunnel. But in a normal world, there would probably be a tunnel or a spawner or something nearby that cavern, and they would slowly whittle it down until they busted into it. And then you're going to have to abandon the cavern or try to seal it up or something like that. So that's just, you know, it's things that slowly change the game up a little bit. But we'll probably try something else. I'm gonna try and fix the audio on the game, and then I'll be back with all this.